Okay, rule number 4 then was develop a show me attitude. Rule number 5, don't intimidate the child by standing over him. Say that again. Don't intimidate the child by standing over him. When you've got this little child who is so angry about his crayons and saying the wrong thing that I hate him, I never want to play with him again, and you stand up here and saying, what did you just say, and so forth, one of the things that's going to happen with the child is that they're going to try to wonder, what do you want them to say? So their goal is not necessarily for them to tell you what they want to say or tell you what happened, but their goal is, I wonder what he wants me to say. I wonder what he's asking me this for. I wonder. And so they're going to try to think of what you want them to say. So with this in mind, you don't stand over them. Get down on their level. Sit at the table with them. And if necessary or if possible, get right down on the floor and play with them. Something else is going to come up here. Another way of encouraging children to talk to you. But sit right down to their level. Don't intimidate them by standing over them. Because this is a big picture that, okay, someone wants me to tell them and I can't figure out what they want to say and so forth. So be careful. One of the interesting things that I used to share is the nonverbal expression. For instance, one of the keys for sharing with individuals or for sharing with them the idea you want to listen to them is the idea of having an open attitude. For instance, the illustration I've used is a little boy doesn't like his grade on his test. And so he comes up to the teacher and he says, I don't like my grade on my test. And so the teacher goes like this and says, what don't you like about it? Now, he just sent them a message. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. I'm closed on this deal. It's great. On the other hand, well, can you tell me what you don't like about it? Can you tell me what you think you should get for a grade? The openness says you want to hear from them. Okay, so when you're doing this and you get down on their level, you're sitting with them and so forth, you're telling them, I really want to hear. It's a very important part of nonverbal communication to the child. And they will pick up on that. Oh, they pick up on this closed as compared to, okay, tell me what you want me to know. Okay? So again, develop this show me attitude and don't intimidate the child by standing over him. Let's go to our next rule, number 6. Use the child's world to communicate. In the office where I used to work at New Day, we're now working with Day One, but years ago it used to be New Day Incorporated. Now, what happened there in that office was a young fellow used to work with teenagers. And he went out and bought himself 3 or 4 basketballs, and when he wanted to talk with the teenagers, he'd go out on the basketball court and play basketball with them. It's amazing the things that those kids will tell you when they're out on their own level, as compared to sitting in an office wondering and really that's the picture, wondering what you want them to say. Out there on the basketball court, things will happen, things will come out that the person will be able to express his feelings. And if you're open to it, you're in their world. So get into the child's world. If you're talking children that play with toys on the floor, get down there on the floor and play with the toys. So they had this little horse that just kicked his dog off the table. Wait a minute now. Why did that the horse kick the dog? What did the dog do to that? You'll be surprised when you start putting this together. They might tell you what you think to be a story, but maybe you can even ask, well, did that ever happen to you? Maybe they're telling you something that they went through, or maybe even they're telling somebody else's story. Maybe somebody in school told them something about this, and well, this is what happened, and so forth. And you've opened up the door to communication. You'd be surprised how much a child communicates in his play world. So if you want that child to share with you, get into their play world. Get down to their level. Okay? Now, what's happening, remember the theme of this is helping children manage anger. So what you're doing is you're getting them to tell you the anger. So that now when they tell you this, we can redirect them to show how to vent the anger. So rule number 6, use the child's world to communicate. Well, rule number 7, ready? Make a child feel comfortable and important. You just did. When you got down on their level and you got into their play world, you made them feel comfortable. They're not trying to reach up to you. They're not trying to interpret things as an adult would, but you're getting into their world. You're trying to listen to what they got to say. And in so doing, you will give them a feeling that you really want to hear, and then they really want to share. And it's amazing how they will keep adding and adding and adding the more comfortable they feel. So you make them feel comfortable and important. I can still remember, I'm now in my 70s, but I can still remember years ago we had this big grassy field beside our house, and we set up the croquet set. Okay? Now, my father would come home from work, and he wasn't going in the house to eat. As a matter of fact, at one point he thought of eating as a waste of time. He wanted to work on his garden and so forth. But when we had that croquet set up and we were out there playing, everything stopped. He could pull the car in the driveway, park, and he's out there playing croquet with us. All these years, I still remember that. All these years, that comes back to my memory. He wanted to play with us kids. Whatever else he was doing, he wanted to play with us kids. When you get into their play world, when you get down to their level, you're making them feel comfortable and you're making them feel important. That is awesome, especially if they're going through a struggle with their emotions. You're making them feel it's all right to have feelings. You're making them feel that you want to listen to their feelings and their feelings are important to you. If you're going to help them manage the anger and deal with the feelings, you've got to let them share them, and you've got to let them know